And for tonight's main topic, our special guest, Sean Hansen, owner of Freedom Ventures, president of Atlantic Marksmen Association, and regional director for IPSC Canada. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Thanks very much.
So there's much to talk about, of course, lots going on these days. But you're just coming off hosting the IPSC Nationals at your home range in Nova Scotia, and I'm sure there's much planning that went into that. And I have a lot of respect for all the match directors across Canada that put on these matches, but I can only imagine how much extra effort goes into an event as large as the Nationals, especially after being off for a couple of years.
Oh yeah, we started planning in November of last year for this.
Wow.
A lot of work went into it. The fact that we hadn't had one for the last 2 years due to the COVID issues, a lot of pressure on to make sure that this is done right and to set a good example, get us on a good foot moving forward. But I would like to point out right away that I was co-match director, so there was both myself and the head of NROI Canada, Jim Smith, who was the match director as well. So, and then we had an amazing team here at the Atlantic Marksmen Association that helped us get it done.
Yeah, no, for sure. One person could definitely not put on even a level 1 or 2 match, right? You always need
Yeah.
help in the background. So
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, our people here really stepped up and got everything done, which was fantastic. We had people pop out of the woodwork that said, "Hey, I don't think you thought about this. Let's do that as well." And naturally, that's a great idea. Um, it's and the stuff you have to think of. I mean, you start off with basics, trophies, stage designs, and registration. But then, how have we got enough toilets? Are they being emptied early enough?
yeah,
Have we got tents for the vendors? Have we got food for the vendors and the officials? Did we have enough? Halfway through the match, I went, "Where is all the black tape going? I don't understand." So I mean, but
so lots of hardcover hits then.
Oh yeah, lots of hardcover hits. I think in the end we figured out that basically what they were doing was they're pulling out a long string of patches to go down and put one on and then leave the sheet down there.
Oh,
So,
okay, gotcha.
but
wow.
it was just like I was doing the math, going, "There's no way that they've used this many black patches." But okay, off we go to get more. We did the awards. Everything we made a little oops on the awards. We missed the category awards, so we had we're getting those done right now by the trophy maker, so we can send them out. It was a slight, all the things that's always a possibility of a slight oversight. The bonus of it, though, the bonus of it, though, is now we know who was getting the award, so I got to put their names on them.
Nice. I guess that's
a little extra bonus for those
niceness,
guys getting.
Yeah, a little thank you for waiting.
Yeah.
So, what were some of the extra challenges for this particular Nationals versus ones in the past? In terms of travel restrictions, things like that.
We weren't having a big problem with travel as much as we were having rental cars. There was, when people first started registering for the match, there was no rental cars at all, nothing. And they needed a way to get around. The rental car companies during COVID had all dumped all their stock because they didn't have any customers. And now when they're back in business, the manufacturers can't catch up and get them vehicles. So in the end, it all worked out because we kept saying to people, when you get here, try and rent a car, because likely they just won't take your reservation, or they had a cancellation, and everybody seemed to be able to get to and from the range. But that was a nightmare, and people were very concerned about it. The hotels weren't a problem. Everybody spread around. Flight-wise, all the bad things that are happening in Toronto right now didn't seem to just get started at that point. So we did have a few people that had some cancellations, And naturally, we're like, well, whenever you get here, we'll accommodate you. That's it's what we have to do these days. So that wasn't a problem. But and then there was the price of everything. Lumber has gone up exponentially. So building the walls, building the props, and everything else, way more expensive. Buying any kind of targets have gone up ridiculously expensive. Everything's gone up in price. So trying to keep the budget working was quite a challenge too.
Yeah, that's definitely some stuff that most of us wouldn't think about, that, the added cost to everything in the current times, right?
And our goal was to try and keep this at a reasonable price. The match entry was $240, and that was, we didn't want to exceed that. We wanted to keep it reasonable. We didn't want to get anywhere near the $400 range or anything like that. Last time we had hosted the Nationals, it was in Quebec, and I think it was over 300. And we know for a fact that it's always going to be more expensive in certain places. When there's more that has to be done in Quebec, we were doing some neat stuff with Valcartier Range. So a little more expensive, but we knew Nova Scotia, our costs are less. So that was our goal, to try and run it less.
So overall, would you say you were pleased with how everything turned out?
I'm the last person who wants to say, ring my own bells or our own bell and say we did a fantastic job, but we did a pretty good job. My goal, we had no arbitrations. I didn't see any run upset on the range or having big issues or anything like that. We really didn't have to deal with any big problems during the match. So to me, that says it was a success. The fact that my helpers afterwards came to us and said, we're ready to do it again already, says we didn't burn them out, at least. So that was a success. So
nobody quit, right? Well. So that's good.
Nobody quit. During the building, there was no arguments and no battles on the ranges.
And the dumpster stage went well.
The dumpster stage went well. It was funny. The IPSC themselves, when we were getting level 3 approval, couldn't understand it, and they were against it. We said it's really something that we did at our first or second nationals in the 90s, early 2000s. Were the first times we hosted it. We're just really doing it as kind of a replica of it, so that'd be neat. I mean, it was only 4 targets, simple and easy, but it worked out.
If you don't mind, explain for people listening that aren't into IPSC or don't know what the stage was about, can you explain how it was set up?
Yeah, sure. So we had built up a mock dumpster. One of our guys had even gone on Amazon and ordered up a bunch of plastic roaches that he had attached to everything. The lid lifted up, and you shot out of the dumpster at 4 targets. It was a self-start stage, so you actually crouched down inside, and we had the back end wide open so the RO could get nice and close. But you held the timer, and you started on your own. So a lot of people would be standing there waiting for the beep and realizing, oh yeah, right, I make the beep. Okay, so the ROs at first were like, what are we going to do if somebody stands up and then releases the beep? We said, well, you're the RO, don't let them do it. Just stop them. So it worked out pretty good. We didn't have any complaints about it or anything like that.
Good. That's really good.
So how did that work then? Did they start themselves with a timer and then just put it on the bench they're sitting on, or
it was strapped to the side of the dumpster.
Oh, okay.
Right in front of them. So it was one of the yellow ones from Are You Ready? And it had and those timers are the ones that you hold, and when you release it, it starts. So it's perfect for this situation. And we used some webbing and strapped it to the inside of the dumpster.
Oh, nice.
That's very nice.
Cool.
So for this one, I did notice on the list there weren't too many international shooters. So I guess you didn't get the same Americans and other parts of the world come to the match. Why do you feel that is? Just the hassle of the travel?
there's definitely the hassle of the travel. I mean, you know what we're like. I imagine a lot of the Americans were just probably looking at it, going and saying, "I'm not going to go through ArriveCan or the passport or or have the vaccines or anything like that in order to get here." So we didn't get them, and we didn't get the CZ team, and like we have in the past, and some other foreign competitors. But people just weren't traveling as much this year, so it makes sense. And besides that, we actually sold out and had a wait list for a longest time of just Canadians. So, deep down, that's the guys that should be at our match.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's
And
nice
we
to have
have
the foreigners.
and we have a lot of great shooters in Canada. Like it's from across Canada, we have so many great shooters. So it's
Oh, do
definitely
we
nice
ever?
to see. Yeah.
And you see, that's part of the other thing. I will tell you, we did get one U.S. shooter come up. His name is Troy McManus. He's the actual director of NRY in USPSA. So he's good friends with our head of NRY in Canada. So the two of them came up and worked together. And Troy was a fantastic CRO on one of our ranges. And we get to show him how IPSC does stuff, and he'll tell us how USPSA is doing stuff. We get to share that way. So that was fantastic. But yeah, no, 350 competitors, I think, is what we had room for. And it just, like, we had people contacting us on the wait list, and we're doing everything we can to get their slots. This year was the first year we had implemented a different registration system for the Nationals than we did in previous years. Previous years, we had held spots for the provincial teams, and they got in first, of course. And then after that, the people that were coming in was everybody gets a chance when registration goes live. So it was just one big race online. We had some complaints about that, some comments from our bigger sections who said, that doesn't work out. So we changed the structure to allowing more weight to the bigger sections to get their slots, so that we actually balance matching what our membership is across the country. So it was up to the sections to actually dole out the slots to our to the competitors that wanted to go.
Oh, okay. So here's a question then. If you had room for 350, how big was the wait list?
I think at one point it was up to 30 people.
Oh, okay.
And then it just kept like go down and go up, go down and go up, go down and go up, as we were getting people drop in and out.
Yeah.
We were very, very generous. Due to COVID, we didn't a couple things we didn't do. We didn't run a banquet, and the reason was we got this in November of last year, and we didn't get normally we would know about it even sooner than that. So there wasn't a lot of banquet facilities available last year in November, and then we also had no idea what the COVID situation would be come this time of year. So we decided we just ordered a couple thousand wings and had some drinks, some pop, and people could bring beer for after the range when we hand out some awards. So that worked out good. But we'll probably go back to a banquet now that things have settled down.
Right. Is there anything that IPSC could do to increase how many people could attend?
Well,
like maybe over more days, or I know everything's a struggle, but
there is the challenge, right? We could have more days, but that means our officials are going to work more days. And, after 4 days, they're dragging their butts a little bit because they've done a good job and worked very hard. We get more. We hope to actually at this. We hope to expand the Atlantic Marksmen Association facility and add 2 more bays for this Nationals. But we got a surprise when we talked to our landlords, Department of Natural Resources, and they said in order to get approval, we had to have Aboriginal approval and environmental approval. And those approvals took a lot longer than we thought they would. We didn't even know that would have been a problem, because last time we expanded, we didn't have to do any of that stuff. They just said, whatever trees you cut down, you got to pay for. So we didn't get that done in time, and we're probably going to shelve building those extra bays now that we aren't running the Nationals. But giving us 10 bays would have given us more capacity and a little quicker flow. Range that has more bays could give us some more. But yeah, then it's extended. And then possibly the other question is, do we do 2 nationals and break it up? One being the optic nationals and one being the iron sight nationals or something like that. So
yeah, more along the lines of what USPSA does. And
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, the thing about the Canadian nationals is we always move it around the country. And within the board, we always discuss, we try really hard to, and hope that someone actually offers to run it on like another side of the country so that we can move around. Canada, unlike most other places, we're so big. And, with the nationals, I get to see the shooters from British Columbia who I don't, it would be a nightmare of a long, long trip for me and everything like that to go out there and shoot with them. But the nationals, we all get a chance to get together. And certainly that was another thing about the 2 years since we had last held it. There were a lot of friends who hadn't seen anybody, their friends in almost 3 years, right? So that was fantastic for me that first day, and I get to see Don Chang and Randy Fisher come over from BC, and last time I saw him was in Quebec, and that was fantastic. The boys from Alberta, Saskatchewan, it was great.
Yeah, it's a big family reunion, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's nice. I wanted to get into the firearms business side of things. Before we do, though, how did you get into IPSC shooting and competitive shooting? Did you grow up with firearms? Is this something that you've done for a long time?
My father was into firearms, so I grew up with them. Yeah, he and I did a little plinking a lot, and what happened was we both joined a local gun club in late 80s when I graduated university and had enough money to start playing. And he bought a Springfield Armory pistol, and inside the box was a little brochure that talked all about USPSA shooting. So then we started asking around, and we found out IPSC was here in Nova Scotia. So we got that. We took the black badge, and it was at Atlantic Marksman Association, which is really the strong IPSC club in the area. And we switched clubs because that's where we could shoot that, and that was it. So over 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's some time. Yep.
But IPSC's been very good to me. Through it, I actually, because I was in a corporate world long before I did what I do now, and we're going to talk about my business, but through it, that's how I actually started the business. I was in the Philippines at the World Shoot, and I met David Skinner, the owner of STI, and became friends.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, before we get into the business stuff, because I know Mo wants to touch on that, and forgive me, Sean, I'm going to put you on the spot, but I know that the Pistol Worlds team has been selected for a number of years as it gets put off and off and off because of the pandemic situation. But what about now, because we haven't been able to have a second Shotgun Worlds, what is the situation there? Can you touch on that, on what might be happening for a world team selection for Shotgun Worlds?
Well, we had one.
Yeah. And it was a fantastic match.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had the greatest time. The boys put on a fantastic match. Paul and Jordan and Matt and those guys, great match. Absolutely great match. And we've tried since then to run another one, but COVID and getting people that were available to do it. Paul was very, very busy at work, that kind of stuff. So we tried to get it. So naturally, we'll use that Shotgun Nationals as a ranking. If we can get another one in, that would be great. Otherwise, we'll do what we possibly can. The NEC will use some common sense in how they select. But without a doubt, we'll have a team going to the next World Shoot for a shotgun.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to ask that one because I know I'm looking forward to that match for sure.
Yeah. The last time everyone went to the World Shoot, Shotgun World Shoot, they said they had a very good time, and it was a very good match too. So,
right on.
So we wanted to get into your store, Freedom Ventures. I'm the proud owner of a brand new Bull Armory 1911 racer, which I'm totally in love with. So which I bought from you guys. Um, your store has a lot of great stuff, but I would say it's more geared toward competitive shooting and more geared in towards handgun shooting. So
That's right.
with what's going on, obviously the hateful government we have and the new restrictions coming into place, where does that leave a store like yours that has been catering to the competitive handgun world?
Well, we're definitely in a transition situation. Um, I the reason I targeted the business that way is because it's what I know.
Mhm.
I'm not a hunter, so I don't know stuff about hunting. So bringing in hunting firearms kind of leaves me lacking in the chance to offer any customer service on that. So we stuck to the competition stuff. Now with the stopping of importing handguns, and that is so sad too, because I mean,
Mhm.
you see the Bull. This year was Bull's year. The stuff I was going to bring in from Bull, we had multiple shipments planned. Um, they, the Canadian market loves those guns. They were a fantastic gun for a great price point. Um, so, and then we can't do it anymore. But the what I'll probably be doing right away is we're expanding to take on other lines of accessories and support. 120,000 handguns at least were sold in the first 2 weeks after June 1st, according to my CFO. Last year, there were only 60,000 transfers in all of Canada in 2021.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people out there now with
Yeah.
guns that need accessories and need the
Mhm.
toys and stuff like that for them. So we're going to focus on it. Well, I mean, one of my first steps is I've signed up as a dealer with Double Alpha Academy, so we're going to add those into our line, all their different products. There's some other stuff we're going to do. I'll probably start also importing longer guns. I think I've got some contacts. Uh, can't really say which ones they are at this point, but we'll start bringing some of them in for the import side. Naturally, we're going to keep a relationship with the existing handgun manufacturers that we had. Staccato, we've talked to all of them. Magnum Research, every one of them is disappointed, of course, in the change in laws here, and we're hopeful that things would fall through or something like that. But they all intend to continue to supply me with the products that aren't guns. So Staccato is still going to send me magazines, and they're going to send me warranty barrels, slides, stuff like that. If there's any warranty to be done, Magnum Research is going to supply me with parts for the Desert Eagles, conversion kits, so we can start changing 40s to 44s to 50s or 357s, that sort of stuff. And parts, we go through a lot of Desert Eagle parts. The commercial ranges really beat the crap out of those guns. But they are their big bread and butter, so that, I understand it. And then we're going to, Bull's still sending me parts, and we're gonna hopefully. The last time I ordered, they didn't have any knives, but they got a really nice line of knives. We'll start selling those as well. So,
Good.
gonna make a go of the business. We're not going to shut it down. My hope is to keep those handgun manufacturers connected and everything else. Still see them at SHOT Show and everything. And actually, I'll see Tanfolio at the Pan Americans down in Florida next month. But the in hopes that the government changes, we get the conservatives in, and we go back in business.
Nice. Well, we got a comment from Mike asking, please bring in aftermarket Gen 3 Glock parts.
I will try. I will try. We have toyed with Glock stuff, and I've chased Sig stuff too. So without a doubt, that's what we want to be. Now, naturally, we have Dawson right now, which has awesome sights for the Glocks, and I was hoping that the Bull triggers that went in the cleavers would be an option for the Glocks, but they haven't been tested enough yet. And Bull isn't promising that they work great in Glocks, but it's a great trigger. So I want to see.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, we all definitely want to see a change in government so we can all continue to keep shooting what we do, enjoying what we do, and keeping all the businesses happy, and
Yep.
so
Now, IPSC Canada is trying extremely hard to be recognized as one of the elite athletes in the exemption for this. So, for the exemptions that they talk about in C21,
Yep.
we are recognized by IPSC is recognized by the GAISF and AIMS, which are the two Olympic feeding organizations. They actually list all the Olympic sports under their title, and then the Olympics is the ones that they choose to show us. So we are IPSC is properly Olympic recognized, and we have been for a little while. It's been worked on for a better part of 20 years to get us there. So we're going to go to the senators. We're going to go to committee and explain that. We've got some great partners on that. The CCFR, Tracy, is all for helping us get there. We've talked to, we actually have talked to members of the Liberal caucus and got some tips on how to present this. They were actually Liberals that are more from a rural area, so they're not exactly in sync with Trudeau. And the best partner we have on this is the Shooting Federation of Canada. Sandra has been fantastic with us. She mentions us in her interviews and talking to public safety, and says, without a doubt, she says, ISSU or ISU and ISSF is an Olympic sport for sure, but the biggest handgun sport in this country is IPSC. So it should be recognized right along with it. Now, if we get the recognition, that might help my business, in fact, because a lot of the guns I brought in are for IPSC, so I might be able to start bringing guns in again. So we'll see, and that'll also help out North Silva and help out CRAFM for their brands that they bring, and Big Rock and those guys, because as you guys know, IPSC is a very wide breadth of handgun types.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and no, and in terms of a sport, people can laugh about the athleticism and all that, but I mean, there's not too many sports where an 18-year-old is competing against a 78-year-old, men and women, in a somewhat, level playing field. Now, of course, the open shooters have a bit of an advantage, but outside of that, from all age groups and males and females, everybody's competing out there and having a good time, and can't say that about every sport out there, right? So.
Yeah, we had a Liberal MP actually at the during it come for a tour during the pre-shoot, who was he's very sports oriented, and he had some good things to say to us, and he did say that unfortunately there's no way that the Liberals will break rank, but it was good to have him there and see what we actually do. He enjoyed it, and he was pretty good. Now, we kept him quiet. We didn't want to tell anybody who it was that was there.
Yeah,
we didn't want to start a riot.
Yeah, no,
but
probably smart. Yeah.
So, the nice thing about it was, in the end, was it was reassuring to hear someone say from the other side say, they get it. They don't really have a problem with us, but we all know that it's a dictatorship. So, fall in line or get kicked out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not allowed to have their own thoughts when it comes to firearms, right? So
no.
Well, back on the IPSC thing, I remember a while ago, I think it was on a YouTube or one of our Facebook posts, we had a question, and I couldn't answer it at the time, but maybe you can, Sean. What goes into deciding whether a certain manufactured pistol is legal for production?
Well, that's easy. I actually was for a little while on the IPSC production committee. So what happens is IPSC either finds out about the firearm, either by the manufacturer or somebody coming to them and saying, there's this new gun out. And what they do is they check it out at SHOT Show and at EWA. So the gun, you show up at SHOT Show, and they actually, someone from IPSC's executive council or from the production committee they used to have handles the firearm, checks it out to make sure that it meets all the criteria that the rule book says. Then the gun is suggested to be added to the list, and the list comes out the end of it's like a week or two after IWA, which is in March. So that's how it's supposed to work. With COVID, shot get killed, IWA got killed. So they were adding guns kind of here and there as they heard about them and thought they were good. So they'll probably get back to the normal system next year.
But what would be the actual criteria for a gun to be we know that it's got to be on the list, but for it to actually make the list, what would be the criteria that gun would have to meet?
It's kind of outlined in the rule book, but what it is the barrel has to be less than 5 inches. So it has to be either a double single or a striker fire firearm. No single actions. They're specifically banned. They can't have a mag well, which of course caused some confusion with the X5s, which had a mag well. So initially they weren't allowed in, but then later they said, so long as you take the mag well off, you're good to go. It can get in. And that was really the primary criteria. There was an argument in France at the World Shoot when they introduced production optics light that we weren't seeing enough participation by the striker fired guns. And that was the goal of production optics light, to see those striker fired guns get in there, or that were on the list being used more often. But they also changed the rules on what we could do to the trigger groups. And once people started changing the trigger groups on the striker fire guns, they became much more competitive, and we started seeing those in. And nobody ever actually, this year they're going to kill production optics light. It's not getting enough participation to bother.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it for the production gun. A long time ago, there was chats about how many are manufactured, but the truth is, that's very hard to actually get the truth out of the manufacturer. How many? If they want the gun on the list, sure, they're going to say they're going to make 500 of them. So,
yeah.
So it was more about making sure the gun was a consistent gun and everything else. Production was born in '99 in Cebu, in the Philippines, at that General Assembly, and the president of IPSC at the time, he had rightly pointed out that the only guns we had in the sport, because all we had was standard and open at the time, were single action. They were either 2011 or some kind of version of a Para or Caspian, and 10 folio CZs, and that was it. Like, that's all we would see on all the ranges. So we needed. We were missing out on so many other brands, the Berettas and the Glocks and all these others, that production would then open up to it. At the same time, they wanted to bring in a division that was only 9mm, so that it would be easier when you travel to have access to ammunition. It's a nightmare for open shooters to find 38 Super somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And you can only travel with 5 kilograms in your luggage. That was the other goal. Believe it or not, initially the proposal for production was to have it as limited to 10 rounds. And the argument at the time was they wanted to require people to do reloads, because at the time the open division limitation was at 170 millimeters was holding 29 rounds, and the maximum round count for a long course at the time was 28. So Eric Raffel was able to shoot the World Shoot in the Philippines and not do one reload.
Oh, geez.
Which is reloading is kind of a fundamental of a sport, of our skill set, right? So we have to be able to do it and have to be able to test it. Anyway, the Australians shot it down. This is quite ironic. They shot it down, arguing that if it was in the rules, then we would see governments require us to not allow us to have high cap mags. And it was only about 3 years later that the Australians wound up losing their high cap mags. So sadly ironic.
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
Are we going to see any other major rule changes coming up over the next little while?
I've had a little peek of them, being on the Continental Council with IPSC, and there's nothing really major coming through this through this time. Just minor housekeeping stuff. Nothing that's going to change our sport in any possible way, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
IPSC Canada is actually in the process right now. We've been given our 30 days notice of the General Assembly's agenda for Thailand. So IPSC Canada, our board, is currently discussing any possible rule changes we want to put forward. So we're trying to see if there's anything that we can think of that we've had an issue with. One thing I have an issue with, and I would love to see changed, is the price of arbitrations. You know, they were $100 30 years ago. There's $100 meant a lot more to put up 30 years ago than it does today. So I don't know.
So with that, are you seeing a lot of people putting up the $100 for arbitration then, or? We
didn't see any at this Nationals, but if we go back a couple of years ago, yeah, there were quite a few. Fortunately, the range masters would stand their ground and say, "That's not an arbitral. You really don't have any grounds to arbitrate on this. So here's your money back." But it was getting a little. It was, yeah. I've seen a lot more arbitrations than we did, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Teams come to the Nationals with the money guaranteed for their arbitrations. So they're if something goes wrong, they're ready to do it. And if you think about it, you've traveled to a major match someplace. You've spent a lot of money to get there. You get DQ'd. What's $100 to try and keep going, right?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So,
yeah.
And I get
I was going to say, like, even the competitiveness of the sport over the last 15, 20 years probably plays into that as well.
It certainly does.
Yeah. Cal, did you have anything else for Sean?
No, I wish I was there at National so I could have taken in what I'm hearing was an excellent match. But
that's good to hear.
Looking forward to seeing hopefully some shotgun take off here and that, because that's definitely my passion, but I'd still like the handgun stuff. So
you love your shotguns, don't you?
I do. It's easy because it's the one I'm the best at, so it's easy to like it.
I came back from the Shotgun Nationals and I sent my Typhoon off immediately to Tactical Ordnance to tune up and have everything done. Yeah. And it arrived back here on my doorstep 1 week before they announced the OIC.
Oh man!
I was like, I never even got to try it.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Wow.
Because that Shotgun Nationals was fantastic, and I really do hope our guys are able to put on some more of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I was at that match, and it was an incredible match. I loved every minute of it.
I was blown away by the no-shoot plates and having to know what your hold-off is for the choke that you choose. And there's so much to be thinking of. There's so much thought involved in it. It's really cool.
I came back from that, and I don't think I shot 2 stages with back-to-back with the same choke in.
I get that, yeah.
Yeah. And the tight nose shoots, that was wild.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all the kind of questions I had. So, no.
Yeah, we've covered some good stuff. Before we let you go, let us know how people can find you and find your store and find IPSC information as well.
Sure. For IPSC, IPSC Canada's website is www.ipsc-canada.org. And from there, you can find links to all the sections, websites. If you want to be involved in IPSC, you got to take the black badge. And once you talk to our sections, the sections can provide that for you, get you in and get you trained, and start having fun with us. For Freedom Ventures, www.freedomventures.ca is my business. Pop to the website or give us a call at our office, 902-455-5483. And Ricky would be happy to chat with you. We don't answer the phone for the first couple hours of the day just so we can catch up on the online orders and have all that working. Hi, Trevor. And and that's how you get hold of us. Email sales@freedomventures.ca. we're one of the major, we've always been since the start of Gun Nuts. One of the major banners at the top of Gun Nuts is Canadian Gun Nuts is forums. So you can hit the link there or go. We have our own section in there where we list whatever we have and put advertising. So easy to get hold of us.
Absolutely. And are we at the end of the import cycle, I guess, for handguns? Is the well run dry at this point?
It has for me. I've seen a few dealers that have recently received some shipments from North Silva, so it looks like they managed to get some stuff in the very last couple of days. I was trying to get a staccato shipment in that last week, but they just couldn't get it out fast enough. I'm done with handguns for now, but we'll be back into it as soon as we possibly can. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah, you're still carrying the parts for them, though.
Oh yeah, tons of parts. Yeah. I mean, if I wow, EGW, cylinder and slide, Henning. Let's see, Red Hill Tactical, CR Speed. We Dawson Precision. Wolf gun springs, KKM barrels. We do it all we possibly can anyway.
No, it's definitely a great store. So
yep. Cool.
So thanks so much for your time. It's been great going over everything, IPSC and the Nationals and your business and current situation, hopefully better future situation for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you putting me on. It was great talking to you. Awesome interview.
Yeah,
thank you.
Good talking to you again too, Sean.
All right. Take care, guys.
Take care.
There we go.
Oh.
Welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 471, recording live on Thursday, September 1st. I am one of your hosts, Mo.
And I am the other host for now, Kyle.
Where is everybody? Why did they abandon us?
I don't know. They're trying to use this excuse of a job, but who has one of those?
Yeah, I guess since Sadrill's not on yet, I should make up some strange reason he couldn't be on. He selling Girl Guide cookies?
Yeah, I think that was his new job, wasn't it? He was going to take control of the Girl Guide cookie distribution.
Yeah, there's big money in it these days. So
yeah. And Kelly, well, what's Kelly doing? I forget.
What is she not doing?
Well, there's that. Yeah.
So we can get into the show and eventually, hopefully they'll join us.
Yeah, hopefully.
So off the top, Slamfire Radio is looking for new sponsors for all our various segments. If you'd like to get more details on what's involved, please email the show at slamfireradio@gmail.com and we can go over the details. Just to give you an idea, between the various platforms, we have over 10,000 subscribers, so it's a pretty good audience across Canada to sell your wares.
Yep.
And we can get into what we did with guns. Let's see who wants to go first. Kyle, what did you do with guns this week?
Well, see, I was hoping the other guys were going to be here because I went hunting on the weekend, and I was kind of thinking of doing a little bit of story time with Hef on my hunting trip on the weekend.
Oh. Do you want to save it for next week then?
No, I got the details in my head. I'll do it. They just missed out on it. That's all.
That's their
Not
loss.
saying I'm a great storyteller. I mean, I'm a horrible storyteller, but I'll give it my best shot. But so Friday, early afternoon, finally got my shit together and got loaded up and headed out. And so it was a couple-hour drive out to where we were hunting. And got my tree stand. This tree stand I haven't touched since I moved to Grand Prairie, so it hadn't been used in at least 8 years. But I got that set on the tree I was actually planning on doing from the week before on scouting. I went up and started setting up camp. And already kind of getting a little off because a side-by-side drove by with full of hunters. So I thought, great, that's awesome. More people in the area. But then I realized I had my drone in my truck, so I sent that up in the air to see if they were going all the way down to where I was at. And no, they didn't actually. They were actually really good. They just drove past the campsite, checked out a couple things, and then didn't see them the rest of the weekend. So I was really happy about that they saw another hunter was in the area and decided, okay, well, we'll go somewhere else then. But Buddy showed up and we got camp set up there Friday night. Had a couple brews and then went to bed. Woke up in the morning, nice and bright and early. I think I crawled out of bed about 4:45 and had a cup of coffee, and Buddy wasn't out of the tent yet, so I hollered at him about 5:15. And now his back was all screwed up, so I just decided loaded up my stuff and hiked down to the stand. The hike down to the stand was actually more eventful than usually is at that time in the morning, because right off the bat, something, I still don't know what, something crossed the road. Just saw a shadow cross the road in front of me. But a little while down the trail, like only probably not even 100 yards from where my stand was, I come down and around the corner, dropping down. This is an old lease road. Like, it's overgrown, but like the only tire tracks are probably mine and my buddy Nick's going down there scouting. But come around there and I saw some bushes rustling about 15 yards in front of me, and then I heard a growl, and then this figure took like 2 steps towards me and then thought better and ran up the hill to my left, and it turned out it was a fox. So that was kind of cool. Have a fox kind of try and do a bluff charge, and kind of had to laugh because I'm like, well, what does the fox say? Grr. But no, with Nick being in the tent and me waiting for him, I kind of got a little bit later of a start, but I did get it set up in my stand and just in time for hunting light, just half hour before sunrise. I was up in the tree and all situated and set up. And yeah, I just sat there. Hour passed by, and I usually like walking, because walking, you're doing something, you come across stuff or whatever. Yeah. I hate sitting in a stand because time just goes by so slow.
Yeah.
But it was actually really funny because like this was a morning of just emotions, it seems, because shortly after I was up in the stand and hunting lay, I think it was maybe 10-15 minutes, probably 180 yards down the road, there was a black figure in the ditch, and stepped out on the road. Initial thought was bear. Okay. And it's walking across the road, and I could have swore I saw a long, thin tail. So now my mind's going. I'm like, have I ever... trying to think of what it could have been, because it's got a long tail. Well, that's not a bear. It was black. Like, it was black as day. And like, my mind's just going, like, well, have I ever heard of a black cougar? And of course, you're out there just in the howling wind, just your thoughts, and it's like, okay, well, I don't think I have, but what else could it have been? But throughout the next hour and a half, I was hearing branches crunching down the way, and then it was quiet for a while. Then finally, I think it was around 8 o'clock, 8:15, just up to my left, I heard some branches crack or whatever, and I looked up, and there's this black figure, and that time I could tell, no, that was a bear. Okay. And it's right up on the top of this ridge. At that point, maybe 50 yards away. And then it turned to start walking down. Okay. And I look at the path. Like, the path was going to bring it right to the base of the tree I was in. And so I rushed, going through my mind, okay, well, I was going out for elk and moose. I've never actually, while I've always bought a bear tag, I've never targeted them. I keep the bear tag just in case something gets into camp. I can shoot it without any worries of having to deal with proving, hey, self-defense or anything like that. It's like, hey, got a tag for it. It's all good. But this is an opportunity that you just can't pass up.
No.
So I make the decision, okay, no, I'm going to try for it. I've already been sitting in tree stand for an hour and a half. I'm already ready to get down, even though I should be staying up there. So it comes past behind a bush. So I grab my bow and I stand up, get my release on it. But I can't draw yet because it passed by that bush and it can see me. And it passed through the last bush before it's right at the base. And so then I drew. And once it cleared that bush, she just kind of stood there and then looked straight up at me. I was staring her right dead in the eyes. Like, I was trying not to stare at her eyes, but she was looking right at me. And I said, okay, awesome. I'm about to blow out this bear. But apparently everything was fine. Put her head down and then took like 2 steps forward and it was just perfect. Got my sight alignment and whack. Put the bear down.
Nice.
I just came into the middle of this amazing hunting story.
Well, I dubbed it story time with Hef. So
very nice.
So the bear actually ran not even 30 yards. It was perfect because it was out across the old lease road and then into the ditch. I ranged the ground where she was standing when I shot, and it was 5 yards to the ground. So I figure it was a 4-yard shot with my bow. And everything just worked out. I mean, we got the bear skinned and took the meat. The meat's at the butcher right now, getting a couple hams cured and a bunch of farmer sausage made. And in Alberta, you have to keep the hide, so that's going to be going to the taxidermist, get a rug made up, and get the skull polished. And that. But the whole thing was incredible because everything just worked out perfect. Her coming down the hill and the setup, like not even the setup, just how it all played out. And then I just was able to make the perfect shot. Well, it's not, I don't theme it the perfect shot. It was a perfect shot, but I like eating heart, and the heart just exploded. You know, like this is the
Heart meat's
broadhead.
not that great.
Well, no, I like eating heart. I've never had. This is my first bear, really. I've never targeted bears. So, but these iron wills, like that was the first animal that I don't know if people remember. I bought these broadheads last year, but didn't actually shoot anything with my bow last year. But yeah, that just incredible weekend, and that's what I did. It's gonna be a hot weekend, so we're not planning on going camping. Maybe Sunday night we'll go out camp out Sunday night, so head out for Sunday, Monday. But Saturday's supposed to be 30 degrees here, so we're just talking to my buddy today. We're gonna probably take Saturday off, but go hunt Sunday, Monday potentially. But yeah, that's what I did, and it wasn't even guns. So
It's a good story, though.
yeah. I tried to make it interesting. I mean,
good hunting story, yeah.
How about you, Mo? Now that Adriel's still scrambling around.
Yeah, no problem. My segment is short, but so I went to an IPSC match at the Masca Club in Saint Dominic, Quebec. It was 7 stages. It went very well. I was happy with how I shot. I was with my friends Louie and Lisa again. It was nice because for me, it was between 15 and 16 degrees, and I think that's my favorite shooting temperature because you're not cooking out there, you're not freezing, it wasn't raining, so yeah, perfect conditions. And
it was 15 to 20 is nice for shooting for sure.
Oh yeah. And I'm actually enjoying the morning shooting because I used to always sign up for the afternoon squads, and now I've been doing the mornings lately, and it's been good. I enjoy that. Um, I have I'm driving to Valcartier tomorrow afternoon with my friend Louis because the Quebec provincials are this weekend. We are working on Saturday afternoon, and then we shoot on Sunday. So that should be fun. This week I got the best envelope in the world with the green paper that
Oh,
came in,
yes.
and
You
it's
all know
for
what the green paper means.
the green paper, and it's for the bull armory that I got last week. So it already came in, which is really
Wow.
great.
Nice.
Yeah. So now I actually could take it to the range to test it out. I think I mentioned it last week. I don't think I'm going to shoot because it's going to be a classic division pistol, obviously, and so I'm going to try it at some winter matches, right? But I'll shoot it a little bit before we get there. And what I didn't mention on the show last week when I showed it is when I bought it, I didn't know if it was going to be the bushing barrel or the bull barrel. And to be honest, when it was listed and it was available, I didn't really care. So I just went ahead and bought it. And I'm not an expert on which is better. And I guess there's debate on, which barrel is better for accuracy and all that stuff. So it ended up being the bushing barrel, which I'm totally fine with. And I never mentioned it last week. So I don't know if you guys have an opinion on bushing versus bull, but that's what it ended up being. And I'm totally cool with it. So.
Doesn't it make
Um,
disassembly easier if it's a bushing barrel?
Yeah, so it disassembles like I guess a traditional 1911, whereas the bull one there's a little hole that you have to release, and then the barrel comes out. I haven't actually disassembled it yet, but the way I understand it, anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I know my 2011 has a bull barrel, but it's got the toolless guide rod too, so that's super easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's really it for me. And then we can get into the latecomer segment. By the way, you were selling Girl Guide cookies, and that's why you weren't on.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
Or if you're listening to Trevor, you're in jail for stealing Girl Guide cookies.
stealing Girl Guide cookies, yes.
I don't think I would be caught with that. I don't think they would be able to catch me. No. No. Those Girl Guides, you just shove them by the face, push them down to the ground, take their
You just
cookie.
finger. Yeah.
I don't know where you're going with that, but okay.
On the forehead. On the forehead,
okay,
they can't reach you.
Hey, Joe, you don't want to get any more hate comments, do you?
I don't know.
Try not to make enemies this week during your segment, please.
Okay, will do. Now you're tempting me.
Yeah.
I went coyote gopher hunting. I've got an aunt who's got some coyotes, but I picked the wrong day because her daughter was having her 21st birthday and they were doing it outside with a bonfire. So no coyotes to be had.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Did you do the black powder?
No, I brought I think I brought my 17 HMR. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I did find a fantastic spot to set up a kind of a trap for them and call them in. So I'm gonna be using that soon to try again.
Nice.
I went gopher hunting. Shot some, not too many, just a couple of them, just like 10 gophers. There weren't really
gophers?
a lot of them out. Yeah, like on a busy day, it's like 500 on a busy day.
Yeah.
Today was not a busy day, but that was okay. And then I went to all these small town gun shops like Franchier Bay, and like all these tiny little gun shops around Alberta, and I found some stuff. I found number 11 percussion caps for muzzle loaders, which no one's selling. No one's selling them. Can't find them. Try like all the classic places. No, nothing. Where this tiny little place here had some of that gold right there. And a reasonable price too. Look at this, $5.99. And up that was the only one they had of the number 11s. I got the number 10s as well because they're kind of close, but the number 10s were $12. More recent, newer pricing on there. What did I get? I picked up another mag, one of the 597 mags for my 1022 adapter, the Remington ones, to try that. It didn't go so well, so I don't think that's going to work for me. And now that I got those caps, I can actually use my capper. So this is one of the Traditions cappers. The idea here is, I don't know if you saw those things. Those caps are tiny. So with this thing, you just kind of like push up on it, and
lose them.
It's supposed to retain that. Yeah, there he goes. And it kind of like holds the cap like that. You slide that onto the gun's nipple, and yeah, that's it. That's how you cap it. So. Let's see. Oh yeah, Lynx 180. Got that in the mail. So this lower here is the Lynx 180 lower. It's on my MCR upper, which is practically brand new. No, it is brand new. And there's the Magpul Zhukov stock folding, if you will. So you can fold that guy over. It's got a nice click on there, and yeah. I like it. So I'm running, what's this? What's the Calvin Elite, right?
Yeah.
No mods required. Just went right in. The slot on
Nice.
the bottom there is big enough. It uses AR trigger pins. So I went with some anti-rotation pins on anti-rotation. Or the ones the cap hits on anti-walk pins. Yep. And an AR safety. So no more of the other style.
But you didn't get the 60 degree.
My buddy's got one. I'm gonna be stealing it off of his gun. His gun's like in lockdown. One of these days I'm gonna go over to his place, and while he's not looking, I'm gonna disassemble it and boop, pop that one out, put my 90 degree back in there. He'll never notice. But I had one of my kids was trying it out. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh. Change the length of pull on there. Maybe a little bit more. Looks good. Good functionality. Killer trigger on there. Can't wait to take it out to the range. And that was the one they bought. They also sent me one of the buffer tube versions. So I have that one right here. Just to review, muck around with. So
you got a trigger tech in that one.
Yeah, I got a trigger tech in that one. And my release is on there as well. You can just literally swap it between them. So this is the one I'll use for the official review, whereas that one's like mine for other things. But the magwell on them is different. So whereas on the past ones, they were kind of this flat. Now they've got like it's better angled, it's beveled on the inside and all that kind of stuff. And of course, it's quite thin and light because of just how they've made it. So
yeah. Well, I'm impressed that it didn't need any modification for the Calvin Elite.
Yeah. Now, if you want to run your bolt release, you might have to mod that. With this Timney trigger, just the way that the Timney sits really high. No, wait, this is a Trigger Tech. With the Trigger Tech one, it just sits really high, and you do need to grind down the bottom of your bolt release. But you had to do that with all of them before, anyways. That's no change. I'd already done that to this one, so I didn't have to do it. So, but it's still very tight. So I'll probably run that. Had a 3-gun match come up shortly. I got through the CFP. It took like a lot of calls, but not hundreds. I called just on the amateur circuit, just 5 times a day. And then one day came up and you know what? No, this is getting done. And I called and I called and I called and I called 20 times and I logged I think about an hour and a half on hold, and I got through. And I'm like, oh, I'm here. All right. I text the other guy. I'm like, game time. Get ready for a call. I'm conferencing you in. So we did the transfer, and then I conferenced him in for his part, and we got that part done. So that was that Terra TM9 get transfer. So that one's the transfer started.
Nice.
I need to call the Alberta CFO and be like, yo, what about my other guns? They're with you, I hear. Why don't you get those done? Because I want to play with them. I want to shoot those guns. Yeah. I have a ton of flashlights along the way. So I got was it Olight or Phoenix? One of those guys that reached out to me like, you want to review some flashlights? I'm like, actually, I do. And I'm going to review all the flashlights. So I got the most common, like regular size flashlights. Do I have any in here? I don't have any in here, but I got a buttload of them coming, so I'm gonna have like a buttload of high power flashlights. Everything from like, well, at the low end right now it's like 1500 lumens, which is like still quite a bit. At the high end, 3300, 3400. It's hot. Put it on your hand,
Yeah.
it's like immediately hot. But yeah, I got some of those coming for review. And then I don't know if I let people know on the last show, but I was looking at those like folding shotguns. And there was like 12 gauge and 20 gauge and 410 gauge. I just got one of each, just
Nice.
410, 20, and 12 gauge with the rail on the barrel that I can put the 1X optic on or red dot that I could. I don't know. One of my buddies was like considering shooting a deer in that special zone, so maybe that'll be.
So here's a question on that slug zone. Does your black powder count?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll probably use it because, especially now that I got the right caps and I'll get like consistent ignition with it. It's just cooler.
Yeah.
Just way cooler.
That would be wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm probably going to push for that anyways. Actually, I was at the location and it's super easy to see the deer trails. They're like mowed over and yeah. So I left one of my pop-up blinds out there and just kind of for them to get used to it. And
yeah,
I'll be shooting them in a month and a bit. Right?
Nice.
No, not a month and a bit. A month. No, a month and a bit.
General season?
No.
Oh, the end of it.
It's a special season. It's pretty much general. It's just like a weekend or something like that in October, and then it's on to general. But it's so close to my house that I can just like zip out there for even a day and go do some damage.
Nice.
Maybe mornings before work.
There you go.
I don't know. Depends how early, I guess. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting light later then, so you know.
There were probably other things, but I got to writing my notes late, and yeah, I don't know. That's it for me.
That's good stuff. I don't think you offended anybody today. Maybe the
there's still lots of show left.
Yeah, there's still lots of show. Yeah.
Challenge accepted. We'll get into upcoming events. I guess I won't read the first one because that's today. Maple Seed events are available at mapleseedrifleman.com. Lots of upcoming events for that. There's one in Fort Mac, Alberta, September 10th. Atlanta Marksman Association, September 16th. And I'm sure there's a buttload more. No.
That's the correct measurement.
Yeah.
Yes, correct measurement. There's an ORPS match at Lower Trent Valley, Ontario, September 4th. I guess that's this weekend. The TACCOM Canada show is coming up next weekend, September 9th, 10th, and 11th. I'm sure that's going to be a good time for people traveling in for the show. The Ontario Rifle Association is back at CFB Borden for 2022. Dates and details will be shortly posted at OntarioRifleAssociation.ca. Ladies' Days, Kelly, known as the CCFR Women's Division, is looking to sponsor Ladies' Day events at your range. This is a range-driven initiative, but if you would like sponsorship and support, contact Kelly at slamfireradio@gmail.com or info@firearmsrights.ca and get some help on putting on some great ladies' events. In our news section, we have that the RCMP has a new web services portal for requesting ATTs online. So I think that's not that we want to necessarily get ATTs. At least it's something to make our lives a little bit easier, I think.
I'd like to see what the turnaround time is, because that's just like email. It just gets dumped in a thing. I'd like to see what the turnaround time is on these ATTs.
Okay.
Nice.
Generally,
I've been getting mine through email. I
me
get
too.
my ATTs through email. Yeah.
Because I've always just called up, hey, need an ATT, and yeah, I usually have it that day through email, but calling up seems to have been the quickest. But is it? Like to see
no,
the turnaround time.
in Quebec, I generally get it within a couple hours, and I always have a PDF pretty much half filled out, and then I just make some changes and bam, shoot it off. And it for me, it's been a pretty, I guess, easy process. But
Nice.
we'll see how it goes. And then I guess we got some updated news from one of the listeners was mentioning earlier. Kyle, you want to put it up, or if you still?
Yeah, sure. I just scrolled up in our comments. We had some comments from Illegal Canadian right before the show started that Springfield Sports Club just beat the New Brunswick CFO's appeal. They have fought for your rights and won twice. Thanks to them and everyone who are make it all possible. I'm guessing that's what you meant to say. They're all fighting for all of us. So yeah, they won against the CFO. CFO appealed. They went back to court, and I guess they've won a second time. And yeah, both times the judge stated that the CFO exceeded their authority and struck down all the illegal conditions the CFO imposed. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, definitely. That's great news. We need more wins like that, right? For all of us.
Yeah.
For all the ranges and clubs. And
yeah.
We have no new CCFR legal donations, but if you'd like to help the fight with the court battle, please donate through finance@firearmsrights.ca. We will get into the new gun segment. I guess
someone had the MMP 9 MP 2.0 metal.
Yes, so I added that one. Maybe insult to injury, but there is a metal framed MMP coming out.
So when can I purchase this, Cal?
As soon as we change government or you move out of the country.
I see.
Yeah.
Ouch.
But it's no longer a Tupperware gun, so if you're down south, maybe find one. Try it out.
Yes. And then what else?
I added that listing that has the swear words in it. GoTenda has TT33s for buy one get one free for $200, which means that those TT33s are $100 each.
Hence the swear word.
Okay.
I have one in my cart. I'm trying to figure out if anyone else needs anything from Tenda. I guess we'll be making an order.
Yeah. And that's it for
I'll give you $100 for the free one.
You need to do the transfer after the fact. I might
I know.
With them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That is too good of a price. I already have a Tokarev though. It's like there it is. M54. This is the better one. The TT33. Isn't it like the shorter grip, shittier one? But it's $100. It's $100. What does Tend to know that we don't? Are they trying to get rid of all their stock before something comes in? When's the house rise? 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks or something. Yeah. Yeah, they're just trying to empty the shelves.
I can understand that. I wish they could assign, I wish I could buy them and have them transfer to someone else for that second one.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll let us. I don't think they'll let us do that. Do I want
tell them? Well, you could say hey, we're helping you empty your shelves. Here's the two.
It's 2 transfers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listener Raphael mentioned Crusader Arms' new AR-180. I haven't seen it. Have you guys?
Oh, I did. They went with an ACR stock on it, and it looks way better. It kind of have this what do you call it? Nautilus style forend on it that looks like a submarine. It was huge. And the ACR on the back is way better. Oh, Mike, of course. We missed the Ruger 5.7 carbine too.
Oh
Guys,
yeah, we did. Yeah.
I just started a new job. Sorry, sleep at the wheel. Didn't add the new gun stuff, and there's been all sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ruger made this new 5.7 carbine that does the magazines in the mag well.
I didn't
Very
even take that close of a look at it. I know I got tagged in a post about it, but
Yeah, I guess we'll have to catch up for next week then.
No. I got it. Just
You got it?
hang tough. There she is, the Ruger LC carbine.
that does look
Carbine.
interesting. I kind of like it.
You know what? It's just your 5.7 with like a barrel on it, right?
Yeah.
You clearly see that's just the
Yeah.
Ruger 5.7
Yeah.
and a ugly, stupid looking stock. But the rest of it's cool. I like the, it's a little bit high. That barrel looks like quite low in there.
It does, doesn't it?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Hard anodized. One Ruger 5.7 steel pistol magazine. It's totally their 5.7 that they made turn into a rifle. It's too bad that stock's
Is that a bad thing?
No, I don't think so. No, I mean if you wanted to shoot PCC and shoot it with 5.7, you can use your Ruger 5.7 pistol and this for your PCC, like for 3-gun, right? Two of your guns would use the same mag. If you have too much money, this would be the perfect opportunity to use them. 5.9 pounds. It's nice and lightweight.
Yeah.
20+1 capacity in Freedomville. Does not apply to Canada. Yeah. No, looks cool. That's my new gopher gun. I like the speed out of it. What does Ruger 5.7 compare with for speed and bullet size? Hef, you must know. You've been looking at this, right?
I haven't, not to know it offhand, to be honest.
Huh. Okay. Well.
I started looking at ammo prices and knew it was a novelty gun, so because you're almost $1 a round, if not over $1 a round. So.
Oh yeah, that's the one that you got to get for.
You gotta get the blue tips because
like 5.56, like 223 is what 730 bucks right now per thousand.
Yeah, I think at average you're sitting probably around 75 cents a round right now for that. I think.
Oh, like a 23 grain. Like, okay, that's a prototype though. So 27 or 31 grain bullet going at pretty quick. This is probably out of a pistol barrel, right? Yeah, I wonder what happens when you put that. Oh no, test barrel length 10.5 inch. Okay, that's a long-ish barrel.
Yeah.
2,500 feet per second, 27 grain.
That's not bad. Like 2,500 feet per second. That's not bad.
Huh. Interesting. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Has anyone checked? Like, what's a 9mm going out of PCC?
The staff researcher is looking it up right now.
Yeah.
1,700 FPS.
Oh, so you're gaining not a whole lot then.
No,
like 9. Well,
you would have
still gaining like 900 depending on what you're using. I mean, not even, like, because you get American Eagle 147s, they're doing 11. So
that's with plus P.
Oh, okay.
Thinking stuff. Yeah. They said, well, it'll increase by 1 to 200 FPS. You guys are really putting me on the spot with this research, though. Yeah, increase your velocity between 100 and 220 FPS depending on the powder. You could probably make ammo for a PCC that would give better velocity by using like a slower powder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could use a slower powder because you got the barrel length to burn it up. So
makes sense.
Yep. Neat. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for Mike to keep us on our toes and pointing that one out.
Yeah.
Thanks again to Sean Hansen for coming on to talk about the IPSC Nationals, all the goings on with IPSC Canada and his business and what's to come for him and, the future of farms. We'll get into listener feedback. Do we have a letter?
We had one email. Josh V sent an email. I won't read it, but he was suggesting a potential topic. So maybe look to the future. We might cover. He's actually done a couple now suggesting topics. So
good.
Might cover them in the future.
There was
Good
one on the Springfield Decision Court of Appeal. Did you guys cover that earlier?
I don't.
I emailed it in. I'll read it. It's from Joel. He emailed it to me. As Slamfire Radio and its listeners were instrumental in our fight against government overreach, just wanted to let you know the latest news on Springfield Sports Club versus the New Brunswick CFO court action. As you know, the CFO appealed the initial decision, which we won in provincial court. So it went to the Court of Queen's Bench, where we just won again. I've attached a copy of the official decision, which we received today. Now we have to wait and see if the New Brunswick CFO tries to appeal to the Supreme Court. Fingers crossed they'll have enough common sense to let the decision stand. As you will see in the attached email, Ian Runkle will be doing a podcast, also share the good news with his audience, many of whom also listen to Slamfire. Our fight is and was for all the law-abiding gun owners and rages across the country, and we're certainly grateful for the outpouring of support we've received from the community.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
That's awesome, because that does set precedent then. So
yeah. Positive precedent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, good stuff. If you'd like to email the show, we'd love to get your letters and read them on air. You can do so at slamfireradio@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so through Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com/slamfireradio. We'd appreciate the support. We have any shout outs, Kyle or
I
Adriel?
do. Yeah. I'd like to shout out my hunting buddy Nick for, even though his body was screwed up, helping me out with the bear and got her done up and out. So
cool.
Adriel?
Yeah.
Nothing for me.
Yeah, nothing for me as well. Check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. Like us on Facebook. Give us a review on Facebook. Join the CCFR, which is more and more important every day. And see you next week.
Later, everyone.
Good night, Kelly.
Later.